Good morning, and welcome to Vigilant Broadcasting. The station opportunity presents Underneath the Hat with your host, author Sherri Simmons, as she discusses topics to help us all take care of ourselves underneath the hat.
And welcome to Underneath the Hat, an affiliate of Vigilant Broadcasting and the Talk Radio and TV Network, LLP. My name is Sherri Simmons, and our topic today will be living my best life. We have two guests calling in today, and so I decided to do this topic because in my book, Underneath the Hat, I share about all of the trials and tribulations that Amanda Jane went through, but I didn't want people to feel like it was just this sob story. I wanted people to know that she actually learned from the mistakes that she made and was actually doing something great with the opportunities that she now had based on who she found out that she truly was. So even in the eyes of adversity, we have things and a purpose and gifts that we have. So how are we using them? So we're going to jump right in with our first guest and let her share with us how she's living her best life. Are you there?
Yes, this is Luella.
Hi, Luella. How are you?
I'm doing wonderfully, by the grace of God. Thank you for asking.
Good. Well, I'm glad you could join us on this Saturday morning. Thanks for calling.
I'm honored to be a part. Yes, ma'am. I'm honored. Thank you.
And for those that are joining us on Facebook, you can tune in to Talk Radio TV Network LLP, where we're live. You can leave a comment. If you want to call in and discuss, you can call us at 319-527-2634. So let's jump right on in, Luella. What does living your best life mean to you?
Yes, ma'am. Living my best life means doing my passion and utilizing the talent, skills, and ability that Allah God gave me. It means moving forward in a direction in which I will be able to, I can use my God-given talents to help our people and humanity, and show everyone that anything you desire, your dreams that you have in your heart can come true. I am a 50-year-old woman, 50-year young woman.
Yes.
I started dancing at the age of 7 on the south side of Chicago. Just a little brief background of my experience. I grew up in a modest home, low middle class home. My parents did not have enough, could not afford for me to take classical dance classes, but I did attend dance classes with a woman by the name of Doris Jordan. Mm-hmm. She had a school called Doris Jordan School of Dance on the south side of Chicago in her basement, and she allowed for us in the neighborhood to take affordable classes. My parents literally paid $2 a day every Saturday for me to go to class, and I was there from 9 to 5. I took everything from jazz, modern, ballet. We did calisthenics, we called it, for the first 2 hours. So we worked out, and that experience, and we also did what we called then religion, which now you may call praise dance, but basically that's what it was back in the 70s and 80s. And that experience really strengthened my stamina, my discipline, and my respect for dance. Although it did not give me the classical and strong training that I needed in terms of technique, it allowed for me to build my love for dance, and it really did show that I had a natural capacity towards it or inclination towards it. And that said, I was blessed to be exposed to quality dance through this experience. Doris Jordan took us on a trip to New York City where we had a workshop with the Alvin Ailey Dance Company and Maurice Hines, and I got a chance to see that level of dance and knew that that's something that I wanted to do. So by 8th grade, I auditioned for the Academy of Performing Arts. I made it, but my parents could not afford for me to go. So that said, I was not able to go, and I just continued to take classes with Doris Jordan, and then she got sick with cancer and passed away my senior year in high school, so her school closed, and I started just taking one-off classes as much as I could afford it, throughout the city with Joel Hall, Joseph Holmes, and various places throughout Chicago. I then went away to school to Bradley University. I did not major in dance. They didn't have a dance program. I actually let someone talk me out of majoring in dance, telling me that I wouldn't make enough money, which is not far from the truth. But, being young and thinking that, I need to make some money because my parents didn't have enough money and I'm the only one who's going to college and finishing and so forth, I went on ahead. But that said, I always found an outlet for dance. I always did something. I co-founded a cultural dance group at Bradley University. I taught at a community center. When I graduated, I continued to take classes, and then I got my master's in elementary education. So then I started teaching after-school dance, where I wanted my students to have the same experience that I had, and I had them to perform around the city, being exposed to different experiences in dance, and so forth and so forth. I've been with CPS now for 24 years, and I've always had dance as the extra part of my job and outside because I couldn't teach it during school. And so that said, a couple of years ago or last year, I said, you know what, why don't I teach dance full-time in CPS, especially now that they have a dance program that's really robust now. And so I said, let me go ahead and get my endorsement, which means you need to get 18 hours of credit, of graduate credit in an area. I had math, I had science, because currently I'm a STEM specialist and math instructional coach, where STEM is science, technology, engineering, and math. So for the last 6 years I've been doing that, or almost 10 years I've been doing that, and I gained an appreciation for how math and science is connected to dance. So I started a program called Stimulating Dance, where I show the connections between math and science and dance. And then I said, you know what, let me see if I can teach dance in CPS. And I was actually looking for a graduate program or college that I could just get 18 hours of dance to get my endorsement. And then someone told me about a low residency program that you could go into to get your master's in dance, where you don't have to leave. You can take it online, and then you can go to the university in the summer. So I was looking for programs similar to that. To make a long story short, the last couple of years I was in St. Louis for the Catherine Dunham seminar. The seminar is held at Washington University in St. Louis every summer. And I inquired to the dance department about their graduate dance program. In doing so, the director emailed me back and told me that they have a dance program to get a Master's of Fine Arts, and it's fully funded with fellowships that will cover the costs. And so I said, wow, this is unique. This is something different. And mind you, I have been looking for master's programs probably for the last 10 years. I've been wanting to get my master's in dance for a long time. I applied. It was a very rigorous and lengthy process, and about 4 or 5 days later after they received my application, I got a call from the director, and she said, hi, Louilla, we got your application. We want to fly you out to St. Louis. And they flew me out. I had to audition. I had to do an interview, teach a class, and take a class. And, again, it was very rigorous. And that said, they accepted me. And I could not believe this. I was so thankful that this is something that I'm able to do. Prior to all of this, I did a former church that I was at. I taught praise dance for about 10 years. I'm currently with the Nation of Islam, and I teach dance to the students at Muhammad University of Islam. I've performed at Savior's Day events and so forth. And this is an opportunity, such a blessing for me, because I not only can have what I originally wanted to go to school, to be able to go to school and get my degree in dance, but I plan to use it as a platform to to look at our condition and use my art to teach the truth to our people, and to use it in a way that will affect the hearts and minds of people, and let them know that we are free. And
Right.
people sometimes think that in the Nation of Islam we're robots, and we are so not. We have a plethora of talented people in the arts and beyond,
Right.
in medicine and all, engineering and so forth. But there's so many talented people in the nation, and I want to use my gift of dance. The Minister Louis Farrakhan says we are the gods of arts and culture.
Right.
And he says
Yeah.
the greatest change agents in the world are the people in the culture and art community in every nation. And so I can be one of those people to get to express truth through dance. So that said, I'm living my best life, because it's not just about me. If you're not affecting the world in a positive way, then you have no purpose here. So it's not all about us. I can do this with dance, and I can also extend the exploration that I want to do with math and science and dance, and learn about how dance affects the brain. So I'll be studying neuroscience and so forth. So that, I have so many opportunities. This program pays for everything. I'm resigning from my job after 24 years and moving to St. Louis. So it's a leap of faith.
Yes.
It comes with medical insurance and all of that. So it's a blessing, and it's like, a no-brainer. And I'm very thankful. I'm very humbled. I'm very honored. And it was hard work, because what I didn't say really quickly is that at the age, I have children. I have 3 children. They're 26, 22, and 18. I could not go back to school like I wanted to. I could not quit my job and go back to school to get my master's or just dance. And I was married for a long time. So I waited until they got a little bigger. And I was 45 when I started dancing classically and consistently professionally. I said, you know what, if I'm going to do this, I have to do it. And so I started a summer intensive program where I danced about 5 days a week, many, many hours, almost 17 hours a week. Epsom salt was my best friend. And from there I joined, this was with Joe Hall Dancers and Company, and Center. And I joined his second company. I was there for a year, and then I was an apprentice to the first company, and then I became a first company member. And this is something that I used to visualize myself doing. And I'll say this, too. If you have a dream, visualize it. Actually put it in your mind. Yeah. Visualization is so effective, and prayer is so effective. So I visualize myself. Everything I've done, I visualize myself doing, from dancing in the church, dancing in the nation, and now dancing with a professional company and going back to school. I put it in my mind years ago, and I saw myself doing it. I felt myself doing it. And now it has come to fruition. But, the old saying says prayer without works is dead. And I made the decision to put in the work. It was hard. It was hard work. My body ached. I was tired because I went from work straight to rehearsals and class. I would take naps in my car. So and then I also had to make time for my children, because a couple of them were still in high school. They were older, but they were, still in high school. I still had to be a mom. I'm still a mom. My youngest daughter is in college, and, you never stop being a mom. So that said, everything is just, Allah has made everything work out for me, and I'm so thankful. Yes. I'm so honored, and I want to be able to give what was given to me. I want to give the same opportunity to other young children in the inner city, whether it's in Chicago, in St. Louis, or wherever. I just want to be effective. I want to make a difference in life and, be one of those revolutionaries and guide, us through arts and culture.
And
the minister says that we are high civilization. I'm sorry.
Right.
Go ahead.
I really wanted you to come on, because after hearing your story, because we, for those listening, we work together. We're both STEM coaches.
Yes.
And when you announced it at our meeting, God was like, ask her to be on the show. Ask her to be on the show. Because so
Yes,
often
ma'am.
when you get past a certain age, people are like, okay, well, if I haven't done it now, it won't happen. And
That's right.
to hear your story of how you had a passion and God allowed for things to work in the way that they did, for you to
Yes, ma'am.
ultimately to be able to live the passion and the dream that you wanted to live of being a dancer. And now
Yes,
he's
ma'am.
placed this opportunity in front of you. It may not have come when you wanted it to come,
That's
but it
right.
came at the
That's
right
right.
time where your
That's
kids
right.
were out the house, they were taken
Yes.
care of, you had
Yes.
enough years to
Yes.
resign and be taken
Yes.
care of, and then for you to be a STEM coach, which ties
Yeah.
into the field of dance. So
Yes,
you
ma'am.
went into the interview with more knowledge than the younger people had, and
Yes, ma'am.
probably
And
opened their eyes to a component that they never thought about, which was
you know
incorporating
what?
STEM.
That's right. And it's funny you say that I go in with a different knowledge. In my statement of purpose to the university in the application process, I stated that because they ask these questions like, how are you going to be different? Why should you be selected and so forth? And I mentioned that I come with a unique experience. I'm not the traditional dancer. I'm not the tradition. I didn't follow the traditional path, and so I come with a unique and more mature perspective that could be effective to other people in the program. So yes.
Now, one thing about going after our passion and our purpose is that sometimes fear creeps in. So how have you dealt with the feeling of fear and going beyond that thought in order to fulfill your ultimate destiny?
Oh, that's a great question. Because we often let fear stop us.
Yes.
When you know yourself and when you know who you are and whose you are, it takes away the fear. Yes. It alleviates the fear. You put your faith in God. And with that faith that I have in Allah, and through the teachings, of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, through Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, I understand that the love of Allah and the faith of Allah removes that fear. So, I knew that when this happened, the timing, like you stated, the timing of it was so perfect. I knew it was time for me to do it. And there's been things that I wanted to do with dance that I didn't feel like I was really ready for. But now with this opportunity, I feel like it's God telling me, this is your preparation for what it is you want to do. I am going to prepare you in the way that you want it to be prepared, in the way that I need you to be prepared, so that when I put you out there, you're not only qualified, you're ready. You're ready and more confident. So so that said, it was really a no-brainer. I didn't think about fear. Now that said, I'm gonna be very honest, there have been feelings of I guess you could say fear that have popped up. But it's more so like, okay, am I going to do everything right? Am I going to do this? Am I going to be able to handle this? And I'm going to say this is a challenge I faced recently. Like right now, is my body has, in parts of my body, I've kind of felt injured or aching, and it's like, okay, come on, body, I don't need you to break down now. I need you. And so, but you know what? Again, when you know who you are and whose you are, you go to your scripture, you read. I take time and I get quiet and I use the processes that I know that help me to get over that fear. And so I said, you know what? Okay, I got just cross train a little more. I got to work on my body. I'm a dancer. That's what we go through. It's things that we go through. You don't let it stop you. I cream up, with my arnica or whatever. I drink more water. I do what I have to do. Get more rest. You just find a solution. So you don't let fear stop you from whatever it is you have in your mind and in your heart set out to do. Yeah. So that said that, and I just knew the timing was right. So the fear was it wasn't even there. It's a no-brainer for me.
Right. Now, what is something you still hope to accomplish? Because, you know, if you tell someone, especially younger people, oh, you going back to school at 50 to dance, they figure for some that life is almost over. But you have proven that your life is beginning because now you're living your dream. So what are something that you still hope to accomplish?
Okay. Well, first of all, you know, in this society deems 50 as old. But years and years and trillions of years ago, or millions of years ago, our people lived way beyond into the hundreds and, you know, thousands. And
Exactly.
I look at my leader, teacher, and guide, who is most honorable, the Honorable Ms. Farrakhan, who is 86 and getting around better than some of us, who can still do lectures beyond 2 and 3 hours at a time. So who are you looking at? Who are you basing, you know, who are we basing our image of age by? So age is just a number. It's how you feel. If you're taking good care of yourself, you know, about health and wellness and not about illness all the time. Right. It's a state of mind. Heaven and hell is a condition of your mind here on earth. It's, you know, what we're taught. And so I don't look at it like that. And when fear creeps up, you know, sometimes the thought of my age, I tend to think about that. Now, it is a reality. I mean, obviously your body changes, but I want to be an inspiration for those people, because there are many people who have dreams that they never pursued and that they want to still pursue, even though they're so-called, you know, up in age, and they feel like they're too old. You are never too old to do something that fulfills you and makes you happy. You are never too old for that. And this is what dance does for me. It's therapeutic for me. It makes me happy. And then the work that I can use it for, I know will make God happy. It will make my people happy. So this is something, like I said, that's beyond us. It's not selfish. We have to get beyond that selfishness and think, oh, I'm too old. You just think about yourself. No, you're not. We make time for everything else, you know. Make time for something that makes you happy. You can go back to school. There are people who are, you know, in their 70s, 80s, 90s, they go back to school sometimes. It's just based on what your desire is. Yes. So I don't look at age. I just look, age is just a number to me, and I may have to soak a little more than somebody that's in their 20s. I may have to, you know, get a massage, or I may have to work out a little more. I may have to do some extra things for my body, let's face it. But I'm willing to make that sacrifice, you know. Okay. So I don't go by society standards of age. I go by what I know and what I'm taught.
Well, I am so excited for you. I am glad to see that after people have said that you shouldn't do something, you still continue to follow your dreams and your heart, and allow for God to lead you in the direction that he wanted you to go, and for you being willing to say yes in spite of fear and the situations that you may have been in. So I want to thank you for coming on and sharing your story and helping someone out there who may have felt that it was too late for them to continue with their dreams, and you letting them know that it's possible.
That's right. So we don't let those negative Nancy's talk us out of doing what we know we want to do and what's right for us. So, yes. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes.
You're welcome. And I just wish everyone well. I won't be able to, unfortunately. Okay. I'm actually taking care of business and trying to get ready to move and everything. So,
well, I wish you all the best. I will definitely keep in touch with you to see how you're doing.
Okay, and thank you so much for having me. And God bless everyone.
You're welcome.
Okay, peace.
All right, bye. Want to thank my guest again, Luella Smith, for calling in. She is a prime example of, like she said, age is nothing but a number, and everyone has a dream and a purpose, and your dream and purpose does not have to be fulfilled in your timing, but in God's time. Just allow for him to step in front and say yes, and he will work out all of the pieces. So I want to wish her well on her endeavors to become that famous dancer that she's dreamed about as a young girl and living her best life. When we come back, we'll have our next guest, Bianca Cotton. This is Underneath the Hat, and we'll be back shortly.
Welcome back to Underneath the Hat with your host, author Sherri Simmons.
Hi, this is Underneath the Hat, an affiliate of Vigilant Broadcasting and the Talk Radio and TV Network, LLP. I am Sherri Simmons, your host, and our topic today has been living my best life. Our first guest was Luella Smith, who is a 50-year-old woman who is just starting to live her dream of being a dancer. She's been accepted to Bradley University in St. Louis, where she will begin her master's program, dancing, which has always been her goal and her dream as a little girl. She is a prime example of living your best life, even after a certain age. She mentioned to us that age is nothing but a number, and that anything can happen at any age, and to never give up on your purpose and your passion. If you're on Facebook, I've started a watch party on my page, Sherri Simmons. You can also tune in to Talk Radio TV Network, LLP's age, or you can call in and discuss at 319-527-2634. Our next guest is on the line, and her name is Bianca Cotton. Are you there?
Yes. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. How are you?
I am well, thank you.
Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy Saturday. I know Saturdays are very important to people, and I want to thank you for giving us a few minutes of your time to discuss living your best life.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
So let's just jump right on in. What does living your best life mean to you?
To me, living your best life is first discovering why you were born. So identifying your purpose and knowing your identity so that you can live your best life and not walk aimlessly through life, right? And do it with courage and boldness, and each day with a measure of less fear. So that's how I am currently defining living my best life, is with no excuses, but seeking ways, creative ways to do what I'm called to do, and using the resources that are around me, because what I realize is that I have more than enough. Even sometimes when I don't think I have what I need, I do. And we can get distracted by not feeling as though we don't have what we need, and that causes us not to look beyond ourselves and tap into our networks, and maybe even look around our house, depending on what type of project it is. We may have what we need already underneath our nose. So I found that to be true for me, definitely.
Now, I know that you have you're an author, and you have a book that you've written about fear. You want to tell the listeners about it?
Yes. So my latest book is called Release the Fear, Volume 1, a collection of voices liberated from fear. And this book was released on Mother's Day as a symbol to share with women that we birth more than babies, that we birth purpose, we birth businesses, we birth movements, new ideas. We do so much. And yes, replenishing the earth is a great, wonderful purpose, but we are more than that. So this book encompasses over 20 women's voices, including mine, talking about how they release fear, different struggles that they've had with fear through poetry, blog posts, testimonials, short stories, just the creative writing gamut, and it's beautiful. So if any of you all have heard of, what is the book, For Color Girls, and have seen the movie, when I first read it, after putting it like all together, it reminds me of that, all these women's stories coming together, and you can start seeing the common threads of fear and overcoming fear, or not feeling like you are enough, or not feeling that you have what you need, or believing the lies that fear tells you that you can't do it, and or speaking through other people, saying, why would you want to go to school to be a teacher, which is one of the stories in the book. And after 20 years of sitting with that lie, the woman finally went back to school and became a teacher. So
living her best life.
Living her best life, right? And not staying in what somebody else told me I can't do. Versus believing that you can do and going for it. So I'm really enjoying it, and it's also a workbook that's incorporated throughout the book. So it has questions that you can take time to pause and reflect on, different pages to journal. So it's not just you reading other women's stories. You can also engage in the reading.
Wow. Well, one thing that you said that I love what you said was the preface of the book is that we don't only birth children as women, but we birth dreams and visions and businesses. And I've been very open and honest with the radio guests over these 3 months of having this show that I suffer from infertility. And I had started writing a book about my journey, my husband and my journey through infertility. And Bianca, when I was wrapping up the last chapter about 2-3 months ago, God told me, he was like, you may be infertile physically, but spiritually you birthed several things. You birthed a book. You birthed a foundation for young girls. You birthed the radio show. And so even if you never have a physical child, you have birthed things spiritually that are helping other people.
Yes.
So
it's so true.
Yes.
And that's another reason I believe that God told me to release it on Mother's Day, is because Mother's Day, depending on your situation and circumstance, it can either be a happy occurrence for you or a depressing one. And if you lost your mom and she's no longer here, or if you miscarried a child, or you struggle with infertility, or you feel as though all I have is children, there's so many things that we birth.
Right.
So I look at businesses as our babies, and our careers, and there's so many entities and thoughts that we push out. And when you think about a woman who is pregnant for 10 months long, and when you compare it to your business, how long did it take you to actually take the business from idea to implementation?
Exactly.
It was in stages. So taking a spin on Mother's Day and knowing that we are all mothers to something. And the women in the book, not all of the women have children or are married. It's a variety, and it's a variety of ages, ethnicities, backgrounds that wanted to submit a piece to allow their voice to be heard. And some of them, this is their first time ever sharing. in this type of public space like this.
Okay. Well, that's definitely a great idea, and I will definitely be getting that book, because I think as women, we're so afraid to share our stories, and especially to talk about something that scares us, because we have to put up this front as if we're so strong, given all the situations that we've been in. But we have moments where fear creeps in and we don't know what our next step and move should be. So it's good to actually hear from other women to know I've been there too. I tell people all the time, I say your testimony is somebody's breakthrough, because they are going through the same thing thinking they're by themselves. And if you would just share what you've been through and let them know, if I made it out, you can too, then we're stopping a lot more people from falling into depression, suicide, because they don't feel like they can handle the things that they're going through.
Right, like they're not alone. So I'm starting to get feedback from different women who have purchased the book, and the feedback has been amazing. One woman shared with me she sat up and read the book in one night, and I was like, what? She was like, I just couldn't put it down. I just went from page to page to page, and story to story, and I was like, so, what stood out to you? And she started texting me different people's stories. She was like, oh, yeah, this one was really good. I can really relate to this, and this is where I am right now in my life. Rediscovering who I am and rediscovering my identity. And I really see this book as a conversation starter. I can see it as a talking piece for women to say, you know what, me too. I can relate to that, or I've been there, or this is where I currently am in my life. And they took the words right out of my mouth. So and you find healing in that, because now you're no longer living in isolation with your own thoughts and your own feelings and situations, and are more open to sharing with others. So there's so much healing for women out there.
And once you get past the fear to share, then you, like you said, you can heal, which can now open you up to being able to live your best life and do those things that have held you or been held back by fear.
Yeah.
So what would you say, how important are boundaries to living your best life?
I believe when I think about boundaries, I think about not in limitations, but I think of what am I focused on in the moment. So I know there's been a lot of discussion on social media that I've seen, like, women can do it all. You can do it all right now. And what I'm what I'm coming to understand, being a wife and a mom and a business owner, also writing books, and I work full time, amongst other things, is that there are seasons to life. And sometimes it looks like you are doing everything, but it's seasons in which I am doing certain things. And that's how I look at boundaries. It's like, okay, in this season of my life, I am getting ready to have my son. Like, I'm literally doing about 12 days, right? So, and this, so it can happen any day. So in this season of life, I'm preparing to birth a child in this earth, and I'm still working, so maybe I'm not as focused on other areas of my life, like working out as heavy because of the season that I'm in, right? So that's how I look at boundaries, is understanding the season that you're in and what you're called to do in that moment and your assignment. And it makes it a little bit easier for you to understand what you can hold off on doing. And be able to articulate that to those who are around you. Be like, you know what? I'm not able to go out and hang out as often because this is the season that I'm in, but we can definitely plan for it in a couple of weeks. So.
Right. Yeah. Now, I'm glad you mentioned about boundaries and knowing what your season is and what the season's purpose is, because nowadays you have people who, especially on social media, Instagram, they have these Instagram lives that make it look like they're living their best life when really behind the curtain is a totally different story. So what do you say to those people who want to put up a facade of them living their best life when actually it's smoke and mirrors?
I would say that when it comes to social media, to be yourself, people like to relate to people who are authentic, and sometimes behind that, I would say most times it's fear, showing not wanting to show our authentic selves, or that we had a struggling day, or that you didn't feel like getting out the bed this morning. And if you want to be that vulnerable and share with people, this is a part of my journey. It does not define who I am. That's okay, because it's a part of the journey. Every moment isn't glamorous, and it depends on what type of narrative you want to write and share with others.
Yes, completely agree. Because you have people out there who paint these pictures and then people see them and don't understand, like you said earlier, what season they're in. They don't understand the issues that they had to go through to get to where they are now. All they see is the after effect, but not what they did beforehand.
That's really important. I was just listening to a YouTube video from a person I went to high school with, and he hit it on the head, sharing that all of us are in different stages of life. And for me, I use seasons, but all of us are different stages of life, and sometimes you are trying to compare your stage and or season to somebody else's stage, but it's damaging to do that because you don't know what they did or have to go through to get to the stage that they're at. Right. And unless you've been following that person's journey, you wouldn't know. You know, like, oh, man, they've been writing books for 10 years. That's why, like, 1,000 people are buying it. You know, that's why they have a huge following. Yeah. It takes time to build up credibility and validity in the public sphere, and part of that comes from being consistent and authentic. Right. And knowing who you're speaking to, because you have a different audience that gravitates towards you probably versus than I do, but we may cross audiences. And when you understand the people group you're called to, you will no longer compare your journey to somebody else, because we were all born with a purpose and a unique calling. So I cannot say, oh, my purple should look like her purple. No. We're called to different people. But totally that doesn't mean that we can't partner or collaborate and bring our people groups together. Right.
Well, I don't want to keep you too long, so I just want to ask one last question. Okay. What advice would you give to your younger self now?
So, what advice would I give to my younger self now? I would tell my younger self that one day you are going to have a moment of of clarity and realize you are becoming the woman of your dreams. I had this moment maybe a month or so ago. I forgot what was happening during my day, but I realized that I was becoming the woman that I admired.
Wow.
That I always wanted to be. That I would write down and say, I like this quality. I want to hone this skill. And that was so encouraging to me. So I would tell my younger self that you will continue to grow, continue to evolve, and one day you will have that moment of, I'm becoming a woman that I wanted to be, and don't stop growing.
Wow, I like that. Oh, my goodness, that's good. Wow. Well, thank you so much, Bianca, for calling in, and congratulations and good luck with the baby.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me this morning, and I definitely look forward to talking with you more.
Yes. Before you go, let everybody know where they can find your book.
Yes. It's in two places. It's on my website at behindtheconfidentsmile.com, and it's also on Amazon. So if they type in Release the Fear Volume 1, you can find it on Amazon. And I'm also on Instagram and Facebook under Behind the Confident Smile. So any of those places, you can find it.
All right. Thank you again for calling in, and I will definitely be in touch with you.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. That was my guest, Bianca Cotton, speaking about living her best life. Again, you can find her book, Release the Fear, Volume 1, on Amazon, or you can go to her website, behindtheconfidentsmile.com. You can also find her that way through Instagram. We're going to take one more break, and when we come back, I will share with you how I'm living my best life, along with our closing activities. This is Underneath the Hat.
Welcome back to Underneath the Hat with your host, author Sherri Simmons.
All right, we are back. Our topic for today has been living my best life, and we had two guests today. We had Luwilla Smith, who called in and spoke to us about her living her dream at the young age of 50 years old to be a dancer. And I must correct myself. I said she was going to Bradley University. It's Washington University in St. Louis, where she will be getting her master's degree in dance, something she has always dreamed of doing. And now God has allowed for her to live her best life and to do her passion of dance. And then we had our second guest, Bianca Cotton, who's the author of Release the Fear, Volume 1. And you can find that on Amazon and at her website, behindtheconfidentsmile.com. I chose this topic, as I said earlier, because in my book, Underneath the Hat, Amanda Jane goes through a lot of turmoil, trials and tribulations through her marriage to Campbell. But through it all, she was able to find her passion and her purpose. She found her purpose through the pain. And now I can say that she is living her best life because now she knows what her purpose is. So to me, living your best life is knowing what your purpose is and being willing to say yes to a higher power so that you can reach and fulfill that purpose. And I can say that I am doing that now. Sitting here having this conversation with you all on this radio show, Underneath the Hat, is my purpose. Writing my book, Underneath the Hat, was my purpose. Starting my foundation, mentoring foundation for young girls called Young Ladies at All Times, is my purpose. As I told Bianca, I have an issue with infertility where I can't physically give birth to a child. But God revealed to me a few months ago that spiritually you have given birth to your radio show, to your book, to your mentoring program. So for those of us out there that want to know how can I live my best life, find out what is your purpose. What is something that you would do whether you got paid to do it or not and still be happy about it, whether things go well or not? What is something that wakes you up in the morning and drives you to do things that you may not want to do, speak to people you may not want to speak to, but you know that it's something that makes your heart full and makes you happy and keeps a smile on your face? That's your purpose. And once you figure out what your purpose is and you start fulfilling your purpose, then you'll be living your best life. Let's try to stay away from what we see on Instagram. Everybody's story on Instagram is not true. Everybody on Instagram is not living their best life. They're living the life that they think you want to see in order for them to have the most followers. For most people on Instagram, it's about quantity over quality. And in order for you to live your best life, you should be thinking about quality over quantity. Not about how many people know your name, but about the person and the type of people that know your name. That's what your purpose should be about. So let's not look to what others are doing, but come up and figure out your own purpose and live in your truth and not somebody else's. And don't beat yourself up if you are not where you feel you should be at the time that you think that you should. As Bianca said, and Luwilla told us, everyone has a season. Your season may be the winter. You may have planted your seed and don't see anything happening because there's snow on the ground or the ground is too cold. But spring is coming. So don't compare your winter season to someone's spring because you see them reaping their harvest or you see flowers blooming. It's because of the time that they put in. No one season starts at the same time. So do not fret, do not be upset, do not give up because you don't see your flowers blooming yet. It's not your season. Just hold on a little while longer until it's time for you to see your flowers bloom, and then you pick them and show them off and continue to live your best life. I want to thank my guest today. Today has been amazing. And so before we go, I want to let you know about one of my spiritual babies, my foundation, Young Ladies at All Times. We're having our end-of-the-year luncheon called Sundresses and Hats. It will be on Saturday in 2 weeks. Yeah, in 2 weeks. Today's the 7th. It will be on Saturday, the 8th. Today's the 8th. It will be on Saturday, June 22nd, in 2 weeks, 14 days, at the Congregational Church of Park Manor, 70th and King Drive here in Chicago. Tickets are $25. The purpose of this luncheon is for me to get young girls, seasoned girls from the ages of 5 to 105, all in one room so that we can see how other women are living their best lives, see how other women are carrying themselves as young ladies at all times, hear the stories and the testimonies and the trials and tribulations of other people, and celebrate the things that they've gone through in order for them to get to where they are now, and to realize that we are not alone. So whether you're 5, 75, 105, you can get your tickets. They're $25. You can get them through eventbrite.com, or you can inbox me at Sherri Simmons on Facebook or Instagram, and we will set something up in order for you to get your tickets. Again, that's Saturday, 2 weeks from now, June 22nd, from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. Get your sundresses and your hats or your fascinators. We will have catered food by Signature Taste by Jillian. We'll have decor by Quinny's Creations. And we'll have music and entertainment by DJ Soulcat, along with my special guest, the praise dancers from Union Missionary Baptist Church. Again, tickets are available at eventbrite.com. Just type in Young Ladies at All Times. It'll pop right up. All the proceeds go directly to Young Ladies at All Times Foundation. Also, you can find my book, Underneath the Hat, on Amazon.com, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble. Look it up. It's a page turner. My website is SherriSimmons.com. All of this information will be there. You can also find the same information on Facebook and Instagram at Underneath the Hat, at Young Ladies at All Times, or at Sherri Simmons. Our topic next week will be finances. We will have a guest, Dominique Tyler, who will be speaking to us about finances for the entire hour. You will want to be here. You want to know how to get your finances together, how to budget? Make sure you tune in. Share it with a friend. I want to thank you all for tuning in today. I hope that you share this video and continue to live your best life. This is my baby, my spiritual birth, Underneath the Hat, an affiliate of Vigilant Broadcasting and the Talk Radio and TV Network, LLP. My name is Sherri Simmons, and remember to take care of yourself underneath the hat.
Thank you for tuning in to Underneath the Hat's radio show. We will see you here again next Saturday at 10 o'clock a.m. Central Time. Follow Sherri on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Underneath the Hat, and visit her website, SherriSimmons.com. Always remember to take care of yourself underneath the hat. See you next week.